Okay, so this is a question I've often asked myself. How is it that we learned the languages of Spanish or Chinese or French in school, but we never actually learned the language of the body? How is it that we are so comfortable with learning other languages, but we've never really learned the language of our emotions? And so for some of you, when it comes to health, my whole premise is the intuitive life, the tuning in to find out what is your body telling you, what's it speaking to you about, what are these messages that it's giving you that's leading you along the pathway, not only towards greater health, but a better life. And so for some of you, you might have gone down that path a little ways or a long ways and may have found some help in nutrition, changing your nutritional picture, your diet. Maybe you've done some exercise that's really helped. Maybe you've done some lifestyle changes that's helped. But then at a certain point, something inside just kind of stops. Something inside just says, okay, like what used to be working is no longer working. Something inside says, okay, this is as far as we're going to go. And what do you do at that point? And that's kind of where I found myself a few years ago when I really started going down this journey, was realizing that what used to work was no longer working. What used to work for my nutrition was no longer working. My exercise, something deeper inside was really calling to me for something more. And some of you might really connect with this. This might sound like you. And if it does, just continue on with this video, because I've just got some really interesting things to share that I've learned, and I'm sure I'll be learning a whole lot more. What I've discovered is that since the body is like a messenger to us, oftentimes when the external things that used to work are no longer working, it's because something deeper is saying, I will not heal. Something deeper inside the body is saying, I will not heal until you really listen to me. And so the body has this deeper message, and it's not so much a message sometimes about what needs to happen at a nutritional level, although it could be partly that, or at a lifestyle change level. It's more at a deeper emotional level. There's something that the body is telling us that is so important for our entire life. And if we look at the body not as something evil to be overcome, but we look at it as the messenger, and we really start to maybe open up to the idea that it can tell us something, then we have a potential for that to lead us on this pathway of greater discovery. Okay, so what is the language of the body? The body communicates differently than what we would imagine. It doesn't communicate necessarily in English. It communicates in the realm of feeling and sensing. And this is difficult for many of us because we're used to having a mind over matter approach for the body. So in other words, if I decide this is what I'm going to do, if I decide this is the diet that I should be following, this is the exercise routine, we basically ignore all of our feeling and sensing and just do mind over matter. My mind is the part that controls me, and my mind is what will help me heal. When really oftentimes the mind doesn't really know. It's not that the mind is bad or wrong, it just doesn't know. It just doesn't know the answers. So what we're wanting to do is go a little bit deeper and find out and dig into this language of feeling and sensing. Okay, so here's what sometimes happens whenever we start to really learn to speak the body's language of feeling and sensing, and we start to go in and really feel, okay, what am I feeling? What am I sensing? What do I need to do here? What do I need to eat or not eat? What exercise program should I be on? What's going on here? Anyway, whenever you start to do that, sometimes there can be a really strong resistance that pops up. You might have noticed this. If you start to really tune in on the inside, there's some strong feelings that are uncomfortable. And I think we need to have a lot of compassion on ourselves when it comes to this, because there are two things that we tend to bump up against that I've noticed. There may be way more that I'm not mentioning here, but the couple of things that I've noticed a lot whenever we start to tune into the body, one is that we've really been trained. We really need to have compassion on ourselves because we've really been trained to distrust the inner signals of the body. We've and really distrust the signals of our inner life. Something is speaking to us about more in our life, more freedom inside of our own skin, more that we're really desperately wanting and needing and desiring. And maybe we haven't really been able to go after that. We have beliefs around that it's not good or it's wrong or our desires are wrong or bad. So there's a lot of beliefs that pop up. And really, I think we've been kind of trained, some of us have. If you haven't, that's awesome. Yay for you. But lots of us have been trained to really distrust our body. Our body is bad, is something to sort of be suppressed, to put under submission. It's going to give me the wrong signals. I just really need to, push it down and push aside those signals and again do that mind over matter thing. So that we have this idea that the body is bad, and then really my heart, when I really delve into this deep inner heart, what is it I'm really wanting, what is it I'm looking for, and really tune into all of that, there's an immediate resistance because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not really allowed to do that. I'm not, like, my heart can't be trusted. There's something wrong with going inside. So if you have any of those hesitancies or objections, just know that you're not alone. That's very normal. And there's a lot of really great ways to work through that. The second thing that comes up, actually, let me back up. So what we have here is the body is bad and the mind or the heart can't really be trusted. So what are we left with? We're essentially left with our mind to try to figure it all out. Trying to figure out all the mysteries of our life, the direction for our life, what needs to happen, what does my body need, what nutritional plan fits for me, what's going on. So we're trying to leave it all up to the mind, which if you listen to my Anatomy of Transformation video, remember that the conscious mind is only about somewhere between 5 to 20%. It only covers 5 to 20% of the mind itself. So the conscious mind, that's what I'm talking about when I say mind over matter. That's just the conscious mind. And so we're really relying on 5 to 20% of one organ, not to mention all the rest of this incredible masterpiece of who we are, our gut, our intuition, our heart, and then the rest of the mind, the subconscious mind. So we really need to re-look sometimes at what we're putting our faith in, that part of our conscious mind that gets into the mind over matter approach. So the second thing, this is number 2, second thing that we run into, resistance to actually listening and tuning into the language of the body, that feeling and that sensing, and really learning how to go with that and navigate through that. The second thing we really run into is we really haven't been given tools to know how to delve into and navigate through the realm of the emotions. The emotions are something that, for lots of people, they don't know what to do with them, and for good reason. And so you just suppress them, you just push them away, medicate them, shame them. Our emotions are not something that we really talk a whole lot about. And really, if we do, it's kind of with a little bit of a negative spin. So maybe some of you have had a really great experience with your emotions being well cared for. And if that's the truth, then that's awesome. But for most of us, I found that when it comes to really tuning in, and if we're having trouble with that, usually we don't know how to navigate through the realm of the emotions. And that's a huge, huge thing to work through, because the realm of the emotions has so much wisdom for us, and so much that we can learn from. And knowing how to navigate through that, because emotions do affect us, and they're so, so, so important in this whole journey. So the tools that I love and that I have learned have been really helpful. I kind of have my own little bag of tricks, so to speak, with my health coaching. And there's a couple of tools I'm going to be explaining over the next couple of weeks that I hope that you will get a chance to try out at some point, because they've really been transformative. I've noticed that every time I do a group event or in a session we start using these tools rather than just cognitively talking through something, the things start to really shift for people. So what we want to do is really work with these. We want to delve deeper into just getting past the processing, the cognitive mind 5% part of things, even though that's important. But we want to get past that at a certain point so we can delve into this deeper inner work, that it doesn't necessarily need to be hard, but we're really delving into that realm of feeling and sensing and emotions and what to do with them. And so there's some really great tools that I have noticed have made a huge shift for me and several other people. And I think we'll continue to see more and more as we learn more about them. But again, in the future, I'm going to talk more about this and give you more tools, more ideas, and really help you navigate through this realm of the inner life, the language of feelings and emotions.